Really, really proud of the guys. I think that's the toughest game that we've had, most physical game that we've won since we've been here in 3.5 years. And Pat does a good job coaching. They've got tough kids. It's an older team. They're really, really physical. And we go down 24-14. I felt good at halftime that we came back. And then they go, we're 3 and out, and they go right down and score. And with about 10 minutes left to go in the third, I think, where it was 24-14, we shut them out and outscored them 28-0. And that's what good teams do. So our defense, we thought they would run it down our throat like Notre Dame, and they came out throwing. And I thought that was good. That was better than watching 2 run. So I thought that's a good thing. But then they hit the deep shots to 5, and he had 99 yards the first half, and we just couldn't do that. And then we came right back out the second half and let him do it again. Gene made some adjustments. The defensive staff did a tremendous job. Drake got hot. We just said, we're not going to run the ball. They got too many in the box. They're blitzing every time. So let's throw it. Let's move the quarterback. Let's hit some quicks. I did think that the 3rd down and 1 stop in the 4th quarter at midfield, not only where we stopped them, but knocked the ball loose, and we got the turnover and turned it into points, was huge. And then we had another stop, and Josh Downs had a really good punt return that led to points as well. So special teams stepped up and did what they needed to do. The defense stepped up and did what they needed to do. They had a couple of 4th down stops. The other thing that we accomplished in this game that we had not in the previous 2 games is that we were really 5 out of 5 touchdowns in the red zone, because we took the knee the last time. And it'll say 5 out of 6, but it was really 5 out of 5. And that made a difference in this game because the other 2 were overtime games. We were 2 out of 3 on 4th downs. So we continue to be really good offensively on 4th downs. And they were 0 for 1 on 4th downs as well. They were 2 for 2 in the red zone scores. So there's things that we can fix. Drake was phenomenal again after he got started. I think 388 yards and 5 touchdowns, and we're mad at him for missing a few. So that's just what we do. But the offensive coaches did a really good job of getting the ball to Antoine Green and Josh Downs to start the second half. And we didn't get it to Josh enough in the first half. And if somebody's going to blitz and leave you one-on-one, those are 2 of the best receivers in the country, and we're very, very accurate. So I'm a guy that in my younger days would have been mad that we had 86 yards rushing, and instead I told them at halftime, forget it, man. Go do what we need to do to win the game. Let's don't waste plays running the ball if they've got too many in the box. That doesn't make sense. That's just being stubborn, and it really worked the second half. Questions?
Did you get the sense that your defense evolved with the physicality as the game went on? And what was the catalyst for kind of flipping the switch there defensively in the middle of the 3rd quarter?
The first answer is yes. That's the best defense we've played. You know, we've given up 23 points a game in the ACC, so our defense is getting much better, and we've seen it get better, and we've had halves and quarters where we shut people out. What we didn't do tonight is, other than Five's big plays, we didn't give them explosives. And I thought that was the difference in the game. When we got Pitt in trouble and they were down by 10, they huddle up. They're not a 1-minute team like we are. They're not a passing team where they just drop back and throw it. They have to use their play action. So I knew if we could get to that point, they would be in trouble. And I thought that's when our defense really was in great shape, because you could turn them loose and let them go. We got a lot of guys hurt tonight, and we had guys step up. So I'm worried about them for next week, but somebody else got to step up. That's just the way this team's been.
Was there a concerted effort by you to tell Coach Longo to get Josh Downs more involved, or just to start?
Absolutely. I said at halftime, he's too good. He's disappeared in the first half, so let's get the ball to him. And he knew it. I mean, he's the same way. We all said, get the ball to your best player. And he's the best player. And Antoine Green is stepping up now and taking pressure off. And Bryson Nesbitt got hurt, so that hurt us some with our vertical passing game. Kamari made an unbelievable catch over on their boundary in that fourth quarter. So really, really proud of Josh and the way he competes, and Antoine Green too. And then the other thing that this team's doing that's so much fun is we're, and I wouldn't have run it or called it, but it worked. We're first and goal from the 1, and we throw to Kobe Paysor, and he steps in, and that's a play they've worked on all year. If it had been intercepted for a touchdown, it wouldn't have been pleasant, but worked. They did it perfectly. And then Gavin Blackwell came in and made an unbelievable catch at a critical time when Antoine Green was out. So, and a lot of different backs played. Caleb got hurt the second play of the game or something, that he touched the ball and didn't play anymore, and other guys just have to step up. And what a run by Elijah Green on the goal line again. The one they looked at it at replay about 15 times, and I couldn't figure out what we were trying to figure out. But what a run. I mean, he cut all the way back and kept his balance to score.
Mack, this is the type of game that you guys essentially lost against Notre Dame, a physical kind of game. For you to say that this is the most physical game that you've won since you've been here, what does that say to you about this team, about the characters?
It tells me that this team is growing up, and they're maturing. Our staff is maturing together, because when it was 24-14, a lot of staffs would have panicked and gone in the tank and started yelling and cussing kids, and then they would have quit. So I'm really proud of the culture is probably an overused word, but I'm proud of the mentality that this team has, that they don't quit. They're very resilient. They're very positive with each other. And when somebody gets hurt, they pat them on the back and go to the next one. And it started back in January when we weren't pleased with the end of last year, and we weren't finishing some games. And they came up with, we want to be passionate about what we do, we want to be accountable for each other, and we want to be a tough team. And the Pitt linebacker called them out this week about toughness. And I mean, they responded, and they responded at a really high level. Now, with a physical game like this, we can't feel too good about ourselves and then tomorrow still be talking about it. We've got to enjoy it tonight and put it away, because we got to go to Charlottesville, and they had a crushing game in 4 overtimes today at home, and they play really well at home. So we'll have to get ready to go fast.
Joe put that quote on the Pitt linebacker on the bulletin board material.
They were aware of it.
Mack, it was 28 straight points for you guys in the second half tonight. And we were talking to you a couple weeks ago after Drake leads the drive at the end to beat Duke, and Antoine Green's in the corner end zone. I mean, you've been around a long time. It seems like these are the things that special seasons are made of. I mean, it's got to be starting to feel that way, I would think, for you.
Well, Adam, special players make special seasons, and these guys they're just clicking. And I don't want to be rude about last year's team, because there were some great players on that team and great people. For some reason, we didn't have that same thing. We just couldn't finish at Pitt. Just to think that we're first and goal at the 2 with 1:16 left. I'll never forget that, the finish that we didn't do at State. I mean, those are things that just drive coaches batty, because you're in charge of their mentality and getting them to that point. And for whatever reason, I missed it last year. And the guys understood with me that that's unacceptable. That's not fair to North Carolina, not fair to us to work this hard and not finish games. And that's what this team is doing.
Speaking of great players, is there a way to describe Drake in a manner maybe you haven't with us?
I told you I get tired after the games, and you'll spin anyway. Kelsey Riggs asked me, she said, "Can you tell me about Drake?" And I said, "No, I really can't," which was maybe the dumbest answer I've ever given anybody. But I thought, I don't know how you describe him. What I do know is that he has tremendous confidence. He is an outstanding leader, and he's one of the most competitive people I've ever seen. And he never changes his voice inflection. He never changes the way he looks, his body language. He just keeps competing. And when he had a couple of bad plays tonight, he mad at himself, but you never know it. He just goes. He goes and sits over, and he'll tell Coach Longo walking off the field, yeah, bad throw, man. That's stupid. I can't do that. But that's just who he is. He is a great player, not a good player.
And Coach, you kind of identified Abanikanda as an X factor coming into this game, called him the best running back in the nation. Just want to ask how you would assess how your defense held up against him.
He is, I think he's second in the voting for the Doak Walker Award. And a lot of people in here wouldn't be old enough, but Mike Hart was a great player at Michigan when we played him in the '04 Rose Bowl, and he was so thick. And I remember Greg Robinson, our defensive coordinator, saying, this guy is not tall, he doesn't look like it, but you cannot tackle him. And that's what I thought when I saw this guy. He's short in stature, but he's so strong and thick, and there's not much of a hitting area. And he bounces off of so many people, and he still got over 100 yards tonight. But he got 320 yards rushing against Virginia Tech. And Virginia Tech's a pretty good rushing defense, 320. So that's what we were worried about going into this game. And I thought our guys, he had a couple that he squirted. He squirted the touchdown. He bounced one out to the left, and then he had one he cut back. So there were about 3 runs that made a difference. But I'm so proud of our lines of scrimmage now that on short yardage, we can run the ball and we can make it. We can stop people on short yardage on defense now, and that's not something we've been able to do before since we've been here.
You mentioned the 86 rushing yards for you guys, but it seems like there were certain elements of the passing game where even though they were passing plays, for all intents and purposes, they kind of functioned as running plays. How important of an element is that for your offense?
Yes, the offensive staff's done a tremendous job of getting away from we have to be balanced in the traditional way and throwing screens and flares and getting the ball in the back's hands where they still make their yards. They're just not traditional rushing yards. And that's, like I said, at one point in my career, I would have walked in here and been mad that we had 86 yards rushing, but we had a lot of touches with the backs that made plays. And really and truly, folks, the only thing that matters is scoring offense and scoring defense. How you get there really doesn't matter, but you've got to be able to score touchdowns in the red zone. And I'm so proud of our team that we've started doing that.
Mack, the toughness aspect of this, I just would assume it has to be part of, I mean, it's a rewarding night, but that's to make it maybe even more rewarding. Caleb Hood, Noah Taylor, they're gone before the first quarter's out. Nesbitt, you didn't.
Kamen Rucker.
Right, you didn't have starters in some key positions, and you're trying to win this thing. I mean, just sort of the toughness aspect that I'm assuming you had to see.
Yes, I'm so proud that our recruiting's finally kicking in because some of the younger ones are stepping up and playing, and they're playing older now. And we've been inconsistent, and with these guys getting hurt, we'll have to play more. And also that there is a level of toughness that I haven't seen with our team since we've been here. We've had some nights where we'd rush for 400 yards, and that was good, but we also had 2 of the best backs in the country, and they made a lot of that on their own, and I'm really, really proud tonight. How many sacks did we have? Do we know? We had 1 sack, and we've had 10 sacks in the last 2 games with Pitt, and they were blitzing every time.
They got you 3 times.
Yeah, we got 3. Okay, 3. And I thought that was great. And those 3 weren't in the second half. I don't think. If they were, it might have been the start of the second half. But it was early. And you're not going to get many sacks against them the way they run the ball and use play action. They're not a team you're going to sack much. But that's what I'm proud of. We're finding ways to win. And that's all I ask them. I said, you know what? I want you to have fun because this is college football, and it's absolutely crazy. Just having to sit there all day and watch other people and some of these scores. Oklahoma State beats Texas. Kansas State loses last week, and Oklahoma State gets beat, 48-0? And the backup quarterback played for Kansas State. I mean, you can't make some of this stuff up. And then you look at what Tennessee won 37-6 or something?
44, I think.
44. And this team took Tennessee to overtime. So, and then Tennessee beats Alabama. So it's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. And tomorrow I'll go over all that with the guys and show them, guys, this one, for more than any other time in my life, one game is not carrying over to another one. And 1 week is not carrying over to another week. And I don't know why. But it's just there's more teams that are flat, there's more teams that are up and down, and I can't figure it out. But it is absolutely happening. And so far, our team has played hard for 8 weeks.
Coach, I want to ask your reaction to the fumble that was forced by and then recovered by Cedric Gray, and how big you think that was in the momentum of the game.
I think it was really the difference in the ball game because they still had a chance to score. Our defense has been so inconsistent that game wasn't over. I mean, I started counting points and time, and I said, run, clock, run, man. But at midfield, we got it at the plus 49-yard line. It was a great stop, so they would have probably had to go for it. They might have punted, but it would have been 4th and 6 inches or something with one of the best backs in the country and a senior offensive line. And not only did we stop them, but we ripped the ball out and then go down and score immediately. I thought that was just kind of a backbreaker for them, and that's when there was a point made that we were tough, confident, and going to finish at home. And I do want to say, to be playing for something that matters in October is really cool. And I thank those guys today. Not everybody's able to do that. To have a full house, it's fun for the players. It's the way it should be all the time. And at the same time, what a boost for this economy and our campus. Our campus was buzzing, and Chapel Hill, we go through COVID, and people are closing stores, and here we are today. There's people all over the place. And it's the way it should be. And that's fun. So winning a game like this with this atmosphere helps everybody. And it makes it fun. Makes me feel really, really good about these kids and this team.
Mack, you said polls don't matter until the college football playoff poll comes out. Well, the first one's coming out this Tuesday. You guys are 7-1. Have you started to think about that at all, or is it still just?
No, Michael, I haven't, and I won't. I think we'll talk about the Coastal again Sunday, tomorrow. We'll talk about the polls again tomorrow. And I really think, I probably shouldn't have said, I always thought in the media that it didn't matter till the college football polls came out, because that's the resume. For our team, it doesn't matter till it's over. I mean, nobody says, where were you ranked the 8th week of the season? They say, where were you ranked last year at the end? The beginning doesn't matter, the end does matter. Also, the only way we can win the Coastal is keep winning. In the past, sometimes I've calculated it and said, if we'll win here and if we'll do this, let's get better and win every game we can win. That's what we need to do. So what I will tell them tomorrow is I don't want to hear Coastal mentioned, I don't want to hear ACC Championship mentioned, and I don't want to hear polls mentioned. Thank you for getting us some recognition. Thank you for playing so hard. Thank you for making this ride so much fun. But let's don't be stupid. Let's don't talk about things that are very unimportant. What's important is you guys that are hurt get well, or you guys behind them step up, and let's improve the things that we're not doing well. Let's be mature enough to say that we did these things well, we're still not here. We've got to get these things fixed to get where we want to go. And that'll make this journey fun.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Matt.
See you on Monday.